Hi, this is Will Gray 42, and we're back. Today we're doing a lesson on a basic standard utility one-handed longsword boffer. You may even recognize this from my video, How to Make a Boffer. Since then it's been decorated with a little bit of green. Recently our two new squires, Dan and Claire, were doing a lesson on the next part that we were going to do anyway. So I filmed some of it, and so every now and then you'll see stuff like this. This is the actual class, but my classes on the average take 2 hours, and I gotta fit this in within 10 minutes. So it's going to be a little bit shorter, and you're not going to get quite all the information, but I'll do my best to try to explain what the class was mainly about. That particular class was about one of the tenets, which is control. Now, control will be learned through drills. We're going to show you a couple drills, and I'm going to give you an idea and concept of how to build your own drills. Plus, we're going to go over a new type of drill that has to do with thrusting, and I'm going to show you an easy way to make something at home that will help you in this process. First and foremost, by now you should know the 10 basic strikes. These 10 strikes are what we're going to be using to learn our drills. So, if you haven't learned them yet, go watch the other videos and learn the 10 basic strikes. That'll come very much in handy in this next part. So we're going to start off with an easy one. Now the best way to go about it is step 1, step 2, step 3. Now I know that sounds relatively simple, but add each one as you go. Start with a 1, then do a 1-2, then do a 1-2-4, then do a 1-2-4-2, then do a 1-2-4-2-1. Break them up each and add 1 each time you go. It's kind of like playing that old game Simon, the electrical one, where you have to keep up with the colors. It's easier to memorize the movements if you do the same movement over and over again. Funny enough, that's almost the definition of a drill. When changing from a 1 to a 2, you'll have a horizontal change of strike from a 1 to a 2. When you're switching from a 2 to a 4, it's a vertical change from a 2 to a 4. It's this vertical motion or this horizontal motion. If you switch from a 2 to a 3, it would be diagonal. It would change from the upper 2 to the lower 3. So, one way to make your own combos is start thinking in those terms. I'll do a horizontal, then into a vertical, into a diagonal, back into a horizontal, from a diagonal to a vertical to a horizontal to back to a diagonal. That's how you start building them in your head. Different combos. Because when you actually attack someone with one of those combos, you're going to try to hit him from this side, that side, this side, down low, up high, down low, up high, down low again from a different direction. These combos is how you learn how to move that. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. Hey!
Right on.
We got it!
Do it again. Claire, you say the numbers.
1. Come up with your own combos and see what you can do. Plus, as you notice, when my attack's out, something very important, when I bring my hand out for the attacks, my arm doesn't move much. It's mainly in my wrist and in my hand that these attacks happen. When working with a one-handed longsword, most of the attacks are going to happen in the wrist and in the hands. The movement with how it is held and where it is located on the arm, which is your basic pivot. Now, when attacking with a one-handed weapon, the idea has to deal with speed, accuracy, control. One-handed longsword has to do with articulation of the connection of body and weapon. It's not something in your hand, it's an extension of your hand. And this particular weapon has a lot of mobility in that purpose, in that idea. When I move it around like this, I'm not thinking about what my hand's doing. What I'm actually thinking about is what the sword is doing. I'm actually thinking, this is who I am, and I'm moving that around, not my hands. This is very important, and with the drills that we're going to learn today, this will start helping sync that up so that you can move as one with the weapon. Now I'll show you an example here with Claire where she bounces too much and comes from a 1 to a 2, to a 1. It burns up too much energy, and it also loses flow. Now, I've talked about before that the actual sword fight is mainly 90% mental and only 10% physical. Well, I'm going to give you a demonstration of that. Do you see how Danny is messing with her head? This whole sword fight doesn't take place just on the battlefield. It takes place in the mind as well. Danny is using movement and facial and eye gestures to make Claire go, oh no, he's coming. As soon as you can make your opponent do that, you win.
What? That's right. You know what? Get away from me. Don't even.
See how she backs up from it? This is called a mental assault. With simple body language. The way you present yourself, position yourself for the fight. The way that you have your eyes focused on your opponent shows them something, whether you intend it to or not. So you may as well intend it to. You may as well present before your opponent an adversary worthy of them to fight. Plus, you're only limited by your imagination. If you can't picture yourself being it, there's no way for you to become it. If you can't picture yourself a great swordsman, you'll never be one. As long as you tell yourself, I can't, as long as you tell yourself, I'm not, then you never will be. So when presenting yourself in a fight, tell yourself that you are the greatest swordsman in the world, and show your opponent that. For this drill, what you're going to need is 4 particular cards from a deck of cards. I'm going to use the aces because they look kind of like bullseyes, you know, and that actually is something that I've trained my mind to do. So I suggest aces. So all you need right now is 4 aces and some Scotch tape. All you need to do is take the cards and place them in a basic diamond pattern. Alright, these are your 4 targets. It helps if you have one of these with you. Now, what I want you to do is take a ready position, and then starting anywhere you want, put it to 1, then another, then another, then another. I want you to do it about this fast at first. I want you to take your time and get used to hitting your target. Now, you don't have to hit the same spot every time, but try to. As you go through, and after a while you get used to this, change your arm and put it into a different position. All right, I was here, now do it from here. So now come in from this position. And go one by one. Over and over. All right, now that you've done it this way, change your position again. Bring it to a completely new position, and then strike from there. All right, bring it back each time as you make your strike. Now, as you do this, you will find it becomes easier and easier and easier to hit your mark. So, once that happens, start speeding it up. And to the point that you're coming in and going, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't do the same pattern every time. Now, as you said, I did red, then black. Well, you can go around the clock. You can go reverse around the clock. You can switch up the patterns. So it is always different. But always allow yourself knowing that you know what you're doing. Don't go, okay, I'm going to hit one randomly, and then I'm going to hit something else randomly. The reason why is because you are learning to spot a target and then hit it exactly where you want. This drill and the other drills that we've shown you in the other videos, once you do it right-handed, do it left.